Hey everybody, welcome to the PixelBlips podcast for December 30th, 2012, our last one of 2012. If you're watching us on YouTube, please click the subscribe button. If you're watching us on GamerMotion, please do them a favor and head over to their forums. Dave and I will be signing up soon. You can talk to us over there. As always, you can get a hold of us on Twitter, @PixelBlips. On YouTube, you can comment, and you can also email us at Gmail, pixelblips@gmail.com. I'm Andy Ryan, and next to me is the salamander to my life force, Dave DeWart. Dave, what have you been playing this week?
I don't even understand that reference. I should.
I'm going deep into my Nest library for that one.
Apparently.
Life Force is the American name of salamander, and salamander is an R-type like game.
Gotcha. Okay. See,
side-scrolling shooter. Shmup.
You lost me. Okay.
I'm sorry that I punch a better weight of video game reference than you do. Anyway, what have you been playing?
I'm gonna have to eat my hat.
You can eat your hat.
I'm gonna have
you and the pack, man,
or
eat
some crow. Rather.
Yeah, pull your hat off so people can see your lovely face as you tell them this.
No, well, my hair looks like ass.
Oh, so does mine.
So I just rolled out of bed. But
this is winter, folks. Dave and I just don't cut our hair in winter. It's not worth it.
I don't cut my hair but once every season, so and I already did my winter one. So I got a Vita for Christmas.
Woo!
If you watched any number of our shows, I've not been a big, giant proponent of the Vita. I was very down on it for a while.
This side of the table has been a big proponent of the Vita.
He's all over everything Sony.
Like think on a monkey.
Yes. But I got a Vita and I love it. I love my Vita. I've had it for like
solid
a week.
Piece of hardware.
Not even a week. I mean, it has its issues. I mean, I have big, manny hands. And, it's kind of hard to hold for long periods of time, so I'm thinking about getting that, like, Nyko battery extender thing.
I can see
that. So that I got the wings on it, so it's more like holding a large PS3
Since I usually play with it either at work or when I'm in my bed, I usually rest it on my chest. Just kind of hold it like this.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. That's like...
I mean, I'm just telling you what I do.
Yeah, I know.
I'm telling you how I roll.
I gotcha. But I'm having a lot of fun with it. I did get a 4 gig card, which I immediately maxed out with everything that I could download for free. So I went and bought a 16, and I've only got like 4 gigs left on it.
Yeah.
After downloading all the stuff you can get for free off the PlayStation Plus, which Retro City is this month's game, right?
Yes.
And last month's game was Attack of the Mutant Blobs or something?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't have that.
I thought you went and pre-downloaded it.
I thought I did, I guess. It told me that I couldn't download it. It had a price next to it, so I didn't know if I could download it or not. But it said the same thing with Pinball Arcade, and I downloaded that and it was fine. But yeah, I'm loving it. I've been playing, Sound Shapes. I bought that. Wife's been playing that on the PS3, and I've been playing on the Vita. Haven't played any of the downloadable games except a little bit of the Final Fantasy Tactics, and they still haven't fixed the slowdown on all the spells, but it's a PSP game, so.
I mean, that's coding, so.
Well, yeah, and the slowdown was on the PSP. It wasn't on the PS1. I loaded it up and played it, and there's no slowdown on any of the spells that I've had available as it's at an early point in the game. The early spells.
Okay, I'm not going to call bullshit on that because you're saying the early spells.
The early spells. Maybe the later spells
I definitely remember summonings.
Some of the larger
really
summonings.
buckling the PS1. But
the smaller spells and some basic monster attacks slow down the PSP version. Let's see. I got the Liberation pack, so I've been playing that, and I have the white Vita, which gets grubby real quick.
I've been noticing my black, because ever since Christmas Day, Dave posted a picture of it, and I immediately fell on it like a vulture.
It's like, ah!
And since then, I've been thinking about like how nice your white Vita looks, and how my black Vita is not as special, but then like, the other day I was cleaning off my black Vita, after I sneezed on it. And I was like, yeah, this is...
So I wiped off the little corners where the shoulder buttons are, and there was like little... Just skin flakes from doing this. So it's... white has its issues, but it's still, it's really nice. So I've been playing that, and I've got Liberation. I also got Marvel vs. Capcom 3, so we're going to throw down on that today.
Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, with everyone's favorite archery enthusiast, Hawkeye, on the front of it.
I don't even use him.
I don't. The only character they added in Ultimate that I really used a lot of was probably Nova.
Yeah, Nova's there. I like the intro. The intro is really cool.
Oh, yeah, the intro is
really pretty. But yeah, it really shows off the screen.
But yeah, pretty.
My only, other than it being small, because I have largish hands. And the battery life, yeah, I know. Your hands are a little bit longer than mine, but I have meaty hands.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Is the battery life seems kind of meh. Like I'll sit there and play for like 2, maybe 3 hours, and the battery's at half. But,
that's about right.
So it's about a 6-hour battery life?
Yeah.
Okay.
Normally what I will end up doing is, the only time I play on my Vita and it's not plugged into the wall is when I am out and about.
Yeah.
And then usually I have not run into the time when I'm playing for like 6 hours.
Yeah, because you're not on a bus or anything like that. But yeah, I'm loving my Vita. I wish I had a little bit more space, but I couldn't find a 32 gig card because finding one of those in retail is damn near impossible. They told me at the GameStop I bought it from that they actually had to steal one from another GameStop, so that means the GameStop closer to me doesn't have one either.
Well, as someone who has an 8 gig card,
you know the pains of not having enough space.
Yeah, basically what you end up doing, and this wasn't a problem for me, I've had one since launch, until the Instant Game Collection came onto it. And basically what I've been doing is just getting 2 or 3 games, or 1 or 2 games off the Instant Game Collection.
Yeah.
And bringing them in, and once you play and beat it,
you wipe it off.
You wipe it off, and it's not that. I mean, it's not ideal because I don't have all those games like on demand, which is kind of like one of the great things about the Instant Game Collection. But we were talking before we started recording. I am thinking about
dropping the $100 on the 32.
Yeah, I mean maybe not quickly, but my birthday's in the spring, so I might do that for my birthday.
Well, and I was looking because I got a gift card to one of these places, and I was like, all right, well this will pay for half a 32. But I can't find one. So I went ahead and opted for the 16, and I'm still happy with it. And the backup process, if you have a Vita and you go from a smaller card to a bigger card, it takes a while, but it's real easy. You just plug it into your PS3 or your PC and say, okay, I'm going to back this stuff up, and it compresses it, puts it on there, and then you can pull it back off and you can delete it.
So are you using the cloud save functionality at all?
A little bit. I haven't really delved into a lot of it.
As someone who switches out games a lot, I'm really using that cloud save functionality.
Yeah, and I think I used it for sound shapes just because it had that feature just like on the front screen or close to the front screen. I haven't really used it for any of the other games, but the other games are, like the pinball game, not worried about my leaderboard scores from the PS3 going to my PSP. Liberation is Vita only, so I don't have to worry about that. I don't have a lot of...
but it'll back up the Liberation save.
Yeah.
So that when you then uninstall the game later, you still have that save.
Well, I have the card, so I don't need to uninstall the game.
Well,
Yeah, but it's fun, it's neat. I'm fairly glad that my wife and my mother-in-law got me one, and my sister-in-law. They all threw down and bought me the Vita bundle, and
awesome
got this huge ass case that I can run over and still.
Your case is like twice the size of mine, and I just noticed this.
It only has 3 slots for games.
Yeah, it holds a fraction of the games that mine does.
But can you run yours over?
I imagine probably not, but I also imagine if you ran this over,
it'd probably not be good.
It would not handle the running over well.
But it's a pretty monstrous.
You should probably not take that with you to Pamplona. Is what I'm saying.
I won't take that. But yeah, so that's what I've been up to. What have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot of stuff. Namely, I don't get a lot of game stuff for Christmas usually. Just because my family kind of knows that I know what I like.
And they're not going to risk buying you the wrong thing.
Yeah, they'd rather let me go get that myself. But one of the things they did get me, which was probably like the safest bet in terms of a video game title ever for me, was Lego Lord of the Rings, because I loved Lego when I was a kid.
I still love Legos. I got Legos for Christmas.
Did you know that the plural of Lego is Lego?
Yes.
So why are you saying Legos?
I don't know. I still love Lego. It's
awesome. That was the big point of discussion Christmas morning around my family's house. Like, really, it's Lego. Like,
yeah, it's like sheep,
deer, reindeer, yeah. Anyway, so it's surprisingly fun. I haven't played a Lego game since, I think, the second Star Wars one.
I haven't played one like a lot since the Batman one, the first Batman one.
Okay, so you've played one more recently than I have.
Well, I played Lego Indiana Jones, but we only had it for like, I don't know, maybe a week, because we bought it used, and we were like, this isn't as fun as Lego Batman, so we got rid of it.
Well, this one, the Lego Lord of the Rings, is really, really fun, and the thing that they did was they took the audio from the movies, so like the dialogue. So the scenes will play out with Lego people, and the funny thing is, like, in the background, the funny stuff will happen that normally happens.
I saw a comparison of Lego Lord of the Rings and the opening to the first movie, whatever.
Fellowship,
yeah. And it's like almost shot for shot.
Yeah.
There's just a couple of sections where it's like this scene is not in this scene is not in that. And
they do a lot of really good kind of physical humor in the background. Like
where like
the scene in Fellowship where they're crossing over the mountains, the Pass of Caradhras. And the snow falls all on them and they're all buried in the snow. That happens exactly the same in Lego Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And when Merry and Pippin pop out of the snow, I think Pippin has a giant snowball stuck on his head, and Merry puts a carrot on it like a snowman.
Yeah,
and then they kind of walk around the background a little bit.
Yeah, but it's goofy stuff like that. Because my wife wanted to play it, and I told her she should get it for the PS3, and she's like, "No, I want it for the Vita because then I could play it at home when you're not messing with it." I'm like, "When am I not going to be messing with it when I'm at home?" But I don't take it to work because I don't work in a place where I could sit and play it for any amount of time. What?
But one of the cool things about the PS3 version, which I'm not sure is in the portable version,
I don't know,
is Lego Lord of the Rings. It takes place in a giant open world, so you basically have all of a very miniaturized Middle Earth to fart around in.
Yeah,
and actually, I got to the point where you go from the Mines of Moria to Lothlorien, and I tried to run north to try and see if we could go to Mirkwood or see where the Hobbit takes place, and it does a very good job of like
gating you.
Yeah, like hinting that stuff is beyond this mountain that you can't get over.
Okay.
So, but it is very fun, and I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Okay. It kind of seems, I don't know. It kind of has
the same Lego issues are still there with the other Lego games. Like the platforming's not great. It is super easy. The combat is just mash the square button.
Well, yeah, and that was one of the things that I saw when my wife was playing last night. It kind of reminds me of the beat 'em ups for the PS2 that you had. That was very like it was a Lord of the Rings game, but it was like a Gauntlet Lord of the Rings game.
Yeah, but
it was kind of like that.
Those are the EA titles, and those have a combo system built in.
Yeah, it just kind of seemed like that though, because she was playing like the first level where you're running around as Isildur with, whatever, and she got stuck, and I'm like, she's like, I can't jump over this thing, and I'm like, you got to switch guys.
Yeah,
and do the double jump over the lava. So
and that's a lot of the cool. Because right now I'm at the end of Fellowship, and the horrible thing, and I almost threw my controller at the screen, because when you finish Fellowship, the Fellowship areas, as you're going through the PS3 version, it does the end scene where like they're like, oh, there's Mordor, that's where we're headed, and then it cuts to credits, and I was like, wait a minute,
that's not the game.
That can't be the end of the game, and then it literally picks right back up with where Two Towers started.
That's kind of a nice little break, I guess.
Yeah, it's a nod to the movies to kind of let you know that we're onto a new.
So you have the whole trilogy in this game.
Supposedly, I've.
You know they're gonna make a Lego Hobbit.
In of course.
And it's gonna be massive.
Yeah.
So
I am definitely enjoying it. The other thing I got for Christmas that was gaming related is this thing.
Guinness Book of World Records.
Guinness Book of World Records Gamers Edition, which I still don't like that it's a Gamers Edition. I think you should call it something else. But it is
Electronic Entertainment Edition.
Very cool. Well, I mean, I think Gamers Edition makes it sound dorky and idiotic. And these books have been dorky and idiotic because they used to be just collection of stats. Like how many Call of Duties were sold and everything.
Yeah.
And laid out because they're made for kids, of course. And when I say kids, I mean
under,
tweens.
Yeah, under 15 or 16.
But this one, maybe I just haven't looked at it in a couple years. But this one does a really good job of, instead of being your standard Guinness record book, which I do have a couple Guinness record books. This one does a good job of being a 2012. The year in gaming yearbook type thing. So there's a lot of interesting articles in here. I do have to call out one major problem I have with this. Devil May Cry here is in the fighting game section, which it should not be in.
No, it's
so it's interesting. It's very cool how they put it together, and they have things on every platform. They do a really good job, probably better than any other writing team I've seen, of making this fanboy agnostic. They're excited about everything. They're excited about the Vita. They're excited about the 3DS, the Wii U. They're excited about PC gaming.
They don't sit on one console and say, okay, there's all this awesome stuff for this, and then don't mention anything else.
So like they also have stuff in here on collecting, which you guys know I'm a big collector. They don't have anything on retro gaming, which I wish they did, but it's very interesting. And I thought it was a very good find by my parents. Yeah. I felt bad for them because most of the stuff on my Amazon.com wish list when it comes to books about video games are like very esoteric, like Japanese art books, or like fanzines that like I can't readily get a hold of in my day-to-day life. So that was really cool. I do recommend if you could find it. Let's see, it looks like the MSRP is $15. I don't know that I pay that much for it, but if you can find it for 10 or even less, this is a good deal.
Yeah.
If you're into like what video gaming was in 2012, this is kind of cool. So I also bought my own self some presents. I bought a copy of Ghostbusters for the Mega Drive, the Sega Genesis.
Oh, okay. That game wasn't very good.
No, it is very good.
Wait, no, I'm thinking of the one for the NES.
Yeah, you're thinking of the NES
broken.
Yeah, the Sega Genesis Ghostbusters is the only one that's worthwhile.
Okay. Not even the one that came out a few years ago?
Well,
you mean for the old system?
For the classic
older
systems. So that was cool. I made a pretty good deal on that. I mean, it's generally like a $20 game, and I found Buy It Now on eBay, and I was like, oh, snatch, for a lot less than that. I made some pretty good deals. We have a bookstore franchise here in town called Half Price Books, which are not national, but pretty widespread. This past week, they were doing a 20% off everything in their store sale.
Oh, no.
So I just stopped in just to see what they had.
Oh, no.
And I came across a copy of Kid Icarus that was in a box, and it's just a cheap little box. And the box said $9.99 on it. But the cartridge had a sticker on it that said $4.99.
So you took the box out?
So I took it out of the box and walked up to the thing.
What?
And she rang it up wrong. She rang it up as $1.99. So, and then I got 20% off that. So I ended up getting Kid Icarus for less than $2, which is an excellent price for Kid Icarus. A Yokoi joint. I hadn't played Kid Icarus in a long time when I turned that thing on. I do have to say, it was one of the grodiest, nastiest cartridges I've ever seen.
Well, it's a good thing you've got, alcohol and...
Yeah, the expertise with which to clean these things.
Yes.
I would have to say, like, between that and the Ghostbusters cart, I've seen some pretty dirty carts.
Really? Well, some people don't take care of that thing, man.
Yeah, well, so the other thing I found while I was at Half Price Books, which I'm actually super excited about, even though I didn't make a hugely great deal on it, I got it for about what you could get it up for on eBay, minus shipping. Was Skies of Arcadia for the Dreamcast.
See, I was going to say that...
2-disc edition. Yeah. And I was like, woo, Skies of Arcadia.
That's one of those games that I wish that Sega would, like, re-release on the PSN and
Well, they had it on GameCube, so...
No, but I mean, like, re-release it on... Yeah, put it on a more modern system, or hell, reboot the series with a new one.
Well, they could HDify it like they did with Jet Set Radio.
I guess they could. Or Knights, like they did with Knights, but... Yeah, it's like I've heard so much about Skies of Arcadia, but I don't have a working Dreamcast. I don't have a GameCube, so it's either I pirate it and play it on a GameCube emulator, which he'll smack me for.
Well, I mean, I'm all for if you're out there and you cannot get a hold of a title that is worth playing, I'm all for you going out and emulating that. However, part of the experience of playing a game is playing it on the hardware that how it was meant to be played. So. Yeah. Like a good for instance is this week I've been playing a lot of Jet Set Radio because I love Jet Set Radio.
I like the soundtrack. I downloaded it and installed it on my Vita, but I haven't touched it yet.
So anyway, so I'm playing a lot of Jet Set Radio, and I did not realize how awesome that game was with a second analog stick to control that camera.
Yeah, because initially when you had the Dreamcast version, you could only control your dude and the camera.
And you had to keep like clicking. Your tag, the spray tag button was the same as center the camera. So it did a lot of weird stuff that made a lot of the boss encounters kind of harder.
From what I've heard is they've kind of fixed the game a little bit, and I've yet to touch it though.
Yes, and it also comes with hidden away in the bonus features is a excellent 20-minute documentary on the making of Jet Set Radio or Jet Grind Radio, as a lot of us know it. No, America.
We got Jet Grind, and then they had Jet Set. And then, was it Jet Set Radio Future? That was the same for both?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is weird, but I don't know why they call it. I mean, I can understand why you would call it Jet Grind Radio because that's most of what you do. You're grinding. But I think Jet Set Radio has a better.
It has a better
staccato flow to it.
Yeah.
So there's a really great documentary about like Japan at the turn of the millennium and how this game came about and everything. And I really hope Sega. I'll talk directly to Sega because they're not listening. But Sega, please, as you release more vintage video games on newer platforms, and this goes for Capcom, Konami as well.
All of those guys.
Please do stuff like this. Like, we love it. Like, extra concept art. I know Capcom's really great at that because I have literally art books of Street Fighter art, and all that stuff is packed into those digital downloads. Keep doing stuff like that.
I mean, obviously, if that footage was never shot, then we can't do anything with it.
Or go back to it.
Interview some of the guys that worked on the thing and tell them what they thought.
I would love if, obviously Gunpei Yokoi is no longer around, but if I had Kid Icarus Uprising on the 3DS and they went back and interviewed the people that worked on Kid Icarus 1 and Myths and Monsters on the Game Boy, and then also interviewed the people they worked on the new one, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
They did that with God of War. They got all the God of War directors in a room.
Yeah,
they made Ghost of Sparta? Ghost of Sparta.
Yeah, it was one of them.
When they made Ghost of Sparta, they got all of them in a room and said, hash it out. What do you guys... And they took questions from them. I thought that was very cool.
Yeah, that's neat. And I mean, there's companies that do that with games that haven't been released yet. That do that.
Yes.
With games that have yet to be released. Like, that's part of the hype is they
But I mean, that's not as cool.
The look
when
back
I
is
see
better.
stuff like that, the look back is better.
Yeah, because then you can...
I mean, there's a difference between like a bonus feature on a normal DVD and a bonus feature on a Criterion Collection DVD. Yeah. That's kind of how I stack this.
And it's kind of neat when they do talk about that with like the creative directors and stuff after the fact, like a few years after the fact, then they can go, well, the fans didn't like this. If you could have changed one thing about this game, what would you have changed, and so on and so forth. And I think it's really kind of neat because then you see like in their next game, they kind of learn from these mistakes.
There's kind of an iteration.
See what they're talking about.
You definitely see that a lot in the Final Fantasy series. I think you see them collectively kind of like, okay, wait, that experience system for Final Fantasy 2 didn't work. Let's try this other system for Final Fantasy 3. Oh wait, that did work. Let's do that in Final Fantasy 5. Yeah.
I don't know. Final Fantasy's kind of not what it used to be.
No,
especially with what I've seen of Lightning
fan.
Returns.
Well,
so.
Whatever.
I think they need to stop making direct sequels to their games and just keep doing like they have been, where each new iteration of the game is a new game. It's not the same game. Like because you've got 10 and 10.2, and then you've got 13, 13.2, and then you're gonna have 13.3.
Yes,
basically.
But you had 12, and then you had 12 Revenant Wings, which was a totally different game.
But it's same world, all that. So whatever. And I think right now,
I think 13. I think 13 didn't light the world on fire, like it did with me, and like Square Enix seems to think it did.
It was a divergence that a lot of the guys that started playing Final Fantasy when I started playing in like 7 and 8 era didn't like the way that they. I know. I've played most of 1 and I've played a lot of 3. 6,
anyway,
whatever.
But I think that what they're doing with Lightning Returns and 13.2 is they're staying in that universe because they just want you to understand that these are all similar games. This isn't going to be the leap that you saw between 12 and 13. They want you to understand these are all like this level of Final Fantasy, and we're going to kick it up to the next level when we do 15.
Let's hope. And let's hope that's pretty close to launch title for the next box and the Orbis or whatever.
I doubt it.
No, it'll probably be out like 3 years after they come out.
Yeah, there's never been a Final Fantasy launch
title. There won't be.
So I doubt there ever will be. The closest one was probably Final Fantasy VII, and I think that came out 18 months into the lifespan of the PlayStation 1.
I would like to see a full-fledged Final Fantasy made just for the Vita. That would be kind of cool. Not like... I don't want to see a miniaturized version of 13.
We talk about Japanese games all the time. Bravely Default, which was the pseudo-sequel to the Final Fantasy, the 4 Heroes of Light on the 3DS. It's still hanging out in Japan. I'd like to see them bring that over. I'd like to see them bring Type 0 over. Type 0 is the prequel Final Fantasy 13 game.
Oh yeah.
It takes place in the same universe, but thousands of years before.
Okay.
I'd like to see them bring that over in some way.
There's all these games that are on the other side of the Pacific that we could play, but we wouldn't be able to get any of the story because we don't read Japanese. So.
Yeah. I mean, at the moment, I think the Vita's up in the air a little bit for devs.
Yeah, it's still kind of there.
I think it's going to come out. We probably had a more successful holiday season than people will expect it to, but at the same time, like, I was talking to someone the other day. They were all down on the Vita, and they thought it was a piece of crap, and they hadn't played it. And I was like, well...
I wasn't talking to you a couple days ago.
Oh, yeah. But my response to them was like, they're like, this is just going to be another Dreamcast. It'll be here for 3 years and gone. I was like, if this thing is a Dreamcast, it's a success.
Yeah.
Because the Dreamcast is freaking amazing.
Well, yeah, and it still has its cult following. I mean, Pierre Solar just got is going to pop out a game for it next year.
Yep.
Around this time, so... and I like my Vita. I've enjoyed it. I do wish that there were, it had a little bit more oomph, but it's got plenty for what it is.
Yeah, for a portable device. Like,
yeah.
The other day, I was at a T-Mobile kiosk, and they were showing off the Galaxy 3S playing Asphalt Injection.
You gonna make fun of my phone?
No, it was. I'm not gonna make not directly your phone. My wife has one of these.
Yeah.
But they were showing it playing Asphalt Injection, which was a launch title on the Vita, and it didn't look as good.
Well, no.
I mean, but it's a cell phone.
Yeah, and you have to take into account that this thing has buttons and and analog sticks. That makes it a hell of a lot better for playing those kinds of games. Now, you don't need them for what is that, Treasure Park or whatever. You don't need your thumbsticks. You don't need your buttons at all. You just touch the screen. It's basically a cell phone game.
Yeah.
And this can make some pretty badass cell phone games because it's got the balls to do it. It does slow down a little bit on Liberation. I've had a couple of bits of slowdown when you're...
I think Liberation, because I've been playing a lot more over the Christmas break, and we took a 2-week break. You haven't seen us for 2 weeks, even though we were
put a video up last weekend.
But I've been playing a lot. In fact, I can't believe I just told this, slipped my mind, and we're almost on the podcast. I finished Persona 4.
Oh, really? You beat P4 the first time?
I beat P4 the Golden. The first time, I got the bad ending.
Okay.
And it was really quick, and it didn't wrap anything up, and I was like, this can't be the ending to this game.
So you loaded your save up? And
I went online, they were like, oh, you got the bad ending. I loaded my save up. Luckily, the game does a good job of signposting that the ending is going to start, because it tells you, it pops up at a point and it says, hey, something big is going to happen. You're going to want to make another save file.
Save right now. Do it.
Yes. So I went back to that save file and went and played through
the last
redoing everything.
Hour or whatever.
And basically, you end up with 3 more months.
Okay.
Instead of the beginning of December to the end of February, you basically have the beginning of December to the end of February added to the game.
Okay.
And it does a really good job. And that's where a lot of the added events are.
Okay.
And it wrapped up in such a way that I was just in love with the game. And then I found out I did not get the true ending. So
yeah,
now I
have to play it again?
No.
Oh.
Apparently it has to do with your social links. Some of your social links.
Oh, yeah.
So now I have to go back through, and I'm gonna do New Game Plus, but I'm gonna wait. I'm probably this summer I'm gonna do New Game Plus, because I wanna build up that anticipation again. But
That's
yeah,
cool.
80-hour game
on
my Vita.
Neat.
I highly recommend it. In fact, Jeff Gertzman, the editor, I think he's the editor-in-chief at Giant Bomb.
Yeah, something like that.
It was his number 1 game of the year that wasn't actually his game of the year, because he didn't actually play it because he didn't have time, but he was like, this is my game of the year.
This is the game that I wanted to play this year.
I didn't get to play it, but you should do it. And
well,
I fully agree
he
with
played
that.
the PS2 version, I think.
Yes.
So he knows what's going on in that game.
Yeah,
he just hasn't played the updated version.
Yeah, and there's just enough added stuff, but it is a 100-hour game.
Didn't Klepek snag his Vita for a month?
I think so.
Or something.
I don't know what the situation is over there at Giant Bomb, but if I were Sony Computer Entertainment America, I would send them a couple extra Vitas, because apparently they're hurting.
I think they all have them now. I think Klepek bought one. I'm pretty sure Davis bought one. I know Shoemaker bought one, and he's like, I have a Vita now.
Yeah, I mean, this is the one thing that we can say about the Vita. Now that you have the Vita,
I've had one for about a week.
Once you have it, you like it.
Yeah, and you don't have, but that's with all tech though. You look at everybody who has one, and you're like, you guys suck. You have a Vita. That's a piece of crap. And then when you get it, you have this new toy. You're like, this thing is amazing. I love it.
But the good thing with the Vita is that window doesn't really close. I mean, you start seeing some of as you have the Vita more, you will notice the areas at which Sony has done a great job of effing it up. So
I wish I had GPS in this. I wish I had a 3G version, because
Oh, you don't?
No, the bundles only came with Wi-Fi versions. Oh. So Nier is close, but not really close.
Yeah. But as you play with it more, there's going to be things like that. Little frayed edges of the book, dog-eared pages type thing.
So far, I'm fine with it, but I've had it for, what is this, Sunday? So I've had it for 4 days, 5 days. So
I mean, I would give you. We'll come back in a couple months, and you'll have reached the edges of it.
I do want to say that the back touch is very underutilized in most games.
Yeah. So I mean, it's stuff like that. But even with all those bad parts taken into it, you know, I've had a Vita since launch. I have had my Vita the longest of anyone I personally know, and I still love it.
Well, yeah, and it's a really good system. I like the feel of it. It's small.
Yeah. I mean, the good example is if you are on the fence about getting the Vita, once you have the Vita, you will not be on the fence about it.
Well, no, because you've already got it.
Well, yeah. That's
You'll either come down on the I wish I hadn't bought this.
That's the catch-22 is if you're on the fence about it, once you have it, you will like it, but it's hard to articulate to people why they will.
Yeah.
And it was really good with the PlayStation Plus because you have a lot of games now.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why my wife got it for me, because even if I didn't play some of the games that I did have, like I was given, I would have gotten 5 games that I could try out and play on it anyway. Yeah. And those are really, actually, if you just buy like the base system with a 8 gig card, that's a really good way to show off what this thing can do, because you have an Uncharted game. You have...
I haven't played Gravity. I'm trying to get through Jet Set Radio so I can get to Gravity Rush, because I know 1UP said it was one of their favorite games this year. It was in the running for IGN's something or other, I think, but probably Best Vita Game or something. Everyone says it's really cool, but I just haven't had the space on my poor 8 gig card.
Like I said, I was telling you before, I downloaded everything last night, and I got up this morning, and it was like installed. So I'm like, sweet.
Once you set up, if you have PlayStation Plus and you set up the automatic updates on the Vita, it does a great job of running itself.
Which is good, because, well, I mean, I must have to do that because I had to update like everything that I downloaded.
Yeah,
but
that was like right after I downloaded it. I would say that's one of the frayed edges is that when you
download it and then you have to update it. It's like
it doesn't download the updated version, or it doesn't download the updates with the version, and that's something Shuei Yoshida. I mentioned it to him on Twitter, and he says that is something they're definitely working on because he's pissed off about it.
Yeah,
and he is the head of Sony Computer Entertainment Software, and if your boss's boss's boss is
if the guy on top is not happy about something,
it should get fixed.
Yeah, and you know that's one of the things that it's bothered me about the PSN forever, because it's not just the Vita; it's pretty much everything. Anything you buy on Sony's network is you buy the thing, and then you have to download it in order to play it on, to do the online stuff. That's
well, with that thing that's going to come out next year that we're not allowed to talk about yet.
Well, we're allowed to talk about it because we don't have any official information.
Yeah.
We just have rumors. But supposedly
no one's allowed to talk about it. But that thing that's going to come out probably sometime around next Halloween.
Really? You think it's going to be an October release?
That's my bet. It'll be a few months before Black Friday, because I think they want it out. Microsoft is going to wait, and I think Sony has seen what happened in Nintendo's.
Know what we're talking about.
Yeah, Sony has seen what happened in Nintendo's Wii U, and they don't want it.
It didn't do that bad. I think part of the problem with the way the Wii U has been selling is the fact that they didn't differentiate it enough from the Wii. It's got a very similar name. You add the U, and everybody thinks, oh, well, it's just this controller, and you buy the controller, and it's like, well, this doesn't work.
So
I don't think you can buy just the controller.
Not yet. Anyone that tells you that it's not going to be named the PlayStation 4, that it's going to be named the Orbis, is stupid.
They want to keep the PlayStation brand, but they'll put a new number on the end of it.
Because everyone that says it's like, oh, well, it's called the Vita. Well, it's actually not called the Vita. You can tell because it's marked all over the damn thing, and every time you update it, it tells you PlayStation Vita.
Yeah.
All the Sony stuff calls it the PlayStation Vita.
People just call it the Vita because PlayStation is an extra couple of syllables you don't want to say.
So this will be the year that we see all that stuff in lucky 2013.
We need to see it soon. I mean, GDC and
I think GDC.
All that stuff, because CES is coming up. So
I think you'll definitely hear about it by Valentine's Day. GDC is after Valentine's Day. You'll definitely hear about it by the end of February. And
before St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, in an official capacity.
Yeah, let's hope.
Because we've been hearing about it for a long time in a non-official capacity.
Yeah, dev kits have been at places for a while, and I mean, come on,
that and you can attest to this. I'm getting, me and all the other console faithful are getting super tired of PC gamers talking about how awesome their gamer rigs look.
They do.
And this time next year, my PlayStation 4 will look way better than anything you're... Yeah, because it always does. Yes, because it always does.
Given the specs that have been talked about, I don't see it looking that much better than current PCs. But whatever, we'll see. I mean, that Final Fantasy or whatever, that tech...
Agony's Prophecy?
Yeah, whatever the hell that was, that tech demo that they showed at E3 last year looked amazing. It looked pre-rendered, which...
It wasn't.
Are we sure? Because
Yep.
that's what they said about was it Resistance a couple of years ago?
No, Killzone.
Killzone.
You're thinking
Yeah,
of
the Killzone demo, and that was
the
pre-rendered.
Killzone and Motorstorm demos. Which the first Motorstorm looks a lot better than the second Motorstorm.
Well, it's because they put the time in on it.
Yeah,
They just patched the
Motorstorm
second
Pacific
one out.
Rift is kind of pushed. Anyway, but it's the same conversation console gamers and PC gamers always have.
It looks better, and then in 5 or 6 months, a new video card will drop, and Intel and AMD will throw out their new stuff.
You can spend $6,000 now on a PC that will still look amazing, or not amazing, but
it'll
still
look really
good.
awesome in 4 years.
Will still look good in 6 years.
If you
or
drop
you can just wait
on a PC,
or you can just wait for the console to come out and
it'll be
drop
like
400 or
$600.
500, and it will still look fine.
It's gonna be 600. It's gonna have to have the same launch price.
They're not going to do that again.
Okay.
If they do, if Sony does,
and he's dropping a paycheck or half a paycheck.
one, I'm dropping a paycheck. I'll probably sell a kidney. I got bills to pay now. Two,
You had bills before.
They do deserve to fail. I think that's. I think
You
they've
think
learned.
400's the top? 450 maybe?
450 probably is the top.
Okay.
I think they've learned that they can't do that.
I mean,
I think the Vita's kind of shown them it will be a recent memory that they can't do that.
The Vita is one of the reasons it took me so long to get one.
And remember, they thought they were when they announced the price of the Vita, the 3DS hadn't dropped in price yet. People were
and then
excited
the 3DS dropped $50 or $100.
Yeah, people were excited for the 250 Vita, and then
Yeah.
the market changed quickly, and they couldn't pivot on that access.
No.
I think you'll see a Vita price drop around E3.
So June?
Maybe.
May, June?
Yeah, either this is super easy to make this prediction. You will either see a Vita price drop in terms of the console or the memory cards, either at E3 or at Gamescom for the holiday season. I doubt highly that Sony will let the Vita go into unless this Christmas was amazing.
Well,
for
I
the
mean,
Vita, which we don't really know yet. But if it was fantastically amazing super for the Vita, you might not see a price drop for a while.
I mean, I know of about 4 or 5 people who got not the same bundle as I did, but they got one of those like the Batman or the Black Ops or the Liberation bundle.
Really quick, 2013, one game you're looking forward to because we're running out of time.
Anything good for the Vita?
So we're both looking forward to Soul Sacrifice. Kenji Inafune, don't let us down.
Is there a demo for that we can download, or is that like
at the moment it's press, and
okay.
I think there's a Japanese demo.
Like I saw something on Gamer Motion about it. I'm like, damn, I really want to check that out.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find it, so maybe they'll release it soonish.
Remember, going into the new year, don't forget to spay and neuter your Pokemon. Which I'm still trying to find a good deal on. I think Pokemon Yellow. I think that's the one. That's the itch I have is that Game Boy Color Pikachu version, which everyone says is not that great, but I think it's odd enough that I think
have
that's
a GBA, right?
Yeah.
Get the GBA one.
They're all like $40. So.
Well, yeah, because those games are popular.
Yeah. Anyway, don't forget to spay and neuter your Pokemon. Have a wonderful New Year. Drive safe. Later.
Crash out wherever you are.